Good afternoon. I just thought we'd do what's called a how-to video on split fence posts. Something that I've been doing forever, it seems so. First, I'll tell everybody what I use. This is a sledgehammer. Sledgehammers are different than post mauls. They're made of different material. You can pound metal with these. The hammer I'll use when I put the fence post in is called a post maul. I'll show you one of those when we start fixing fence. Then I personally like just two wedges. I use a sleek, sexy one like me. You can notice that it has a nice taper to it, not really kind of light. And then my father used to call these God old senders. Don't ask me why, but that's what he called them. But these are a lot heavier. They have a steeper angle to them, and they've got a place where you can actually hold right on when you start to pound them. And then I have a double bitted axe that I use. I either mark where I'm going to go with it, or after I get it split, I'll cut any splinters with it. I like a double bitted axe because if I know I'm going to be close to one of the wedges, I use one side because I know I'll end up hitting the wedge. Then I use the other where I can keep it sharp. And another old tool I keep around is this. You use these to take the bark away. Now when I start splitting this, the split might go someplace under the bark where I can't see it. So just to make sure I know where I'm going, I can take this and get rid of all of the bark so I can get down there to where I can see where the crack is. I don't try to use it too much because it's a little bit older than I am, I think, so I know it's wearing out. Now this piece here, this is Honey Locust, the best we've got around here for as far as lasting. It'll stay, you can get 30 years out of a good one as long as they're not in a real swampy area where the water dries up at certain times of year and then it's wet others. If they're in a good area, well drained, stone walls, that types of thing, they'll last quite a while. Another little thing when you're looking at them to see where you want to start it, I think I can get 3 out of this one, 3 fence posts like I've got over here. If you've got knots in them where a limb came off, here's an example. Best way to get through a knot is go right through the middle, or send your wedge so you're going to end up. Problem being with this one is if I go through the middle of it, because of the way it's tapered here, I'm just going to get a real splintery post. So I'm going to try going right beside it, and then I'll get 2 out of what's left. We'll give it a whirl and see what happens. One thing people notice, you see guys swinging post mauls or axes, it's like, let the hammer do the job for you. That's heavy enough. All the weight's on the end. All you've got to do is swing it. You really don't have to put a lot of effort into it. Because I know after all these years, they'll tire you out in a hurry. Now I can still see where that's going. And when I start driving the wedges in this way, you'll notice that I don't drive them all the way in. I just go part way till I know I can get my other one, then I'll use that one. The reason I do that is when you're doing the original post, sometimes they'll crack on angles. So when you're driving your wedge in, you can feel it. It's actually going into wood. Then you get all your wedges caught in wood. You've got to run back and get some more. That's why I always just take 2. That makes me do it right the first time. What I do lots of times, I see when this one starts jumping, and I'd rather put the wedge in 5 or 6 times down through here rather than jump down there, be off, and end up with a big sliver.
You can actually hear it splitting too.
Yeah. Yep. Now this is where I use the axe. There's splinters in there. Certain types of wood, if you had, this was oak, they'd probably split and you wouldn't have any. But with these, you've got these splinters, and I like to cut them off.
When I get these splinters, I don't know if it happens with everybody, but when I get these splinters, even if I take them right out, my hand will get sore. I know there's something in it, I guess. Right?
Yep. Well, this honey locusts, they also have little thorns in them too. Now this fence post, bigger than what I would want. I would have liked it to be this size pretty much all the way through. But I had to deal with the knot, and there's also the other knot. Well, it was actually a crotch in the tree. There was a little limb growing up in it. So what I'll do is when I sharpen this fence post, which we'll try to show you later, I will sharpen the big end. That way I can take sections of it off to make it pointed. You can see this is a little bit taller than I am. They're about 6.5 foot. A 6-foot fence post for most of the land I've got is fine. So that means I can go a little bit higher up here when I do my sharp to put the angle on it. So it might end up that this post is going to be more down here my height, but it'll still be plenty good enough, and it'll work fine, and hopefully it'll last me for, well, 15-20 years at least. Well, that's how we do it. I'll hopefully get one more out of the other part that's left, and then it's back to doing chores. Tomorrow I'll bring a couple more logs over. I try to do a couple every day so I can hopefully be fixing fence by this coming weekend. Everybody have a good day and enjoy the nice spring weather.
There's a little oxen babies, I hope. There's Neaster over there. She's a heifer. Some of the little ones out today. Have a good day, everybody.